Because what would happen is the bride and the bridegroom, when they got engaged, they didn't set a date for their wedding. So they didn't know when it was gonna be. But y'all may be thinking, what? That is crazy, because you have to prepare. Well, they did prepare, but they weren't going to get married until they were fully prepared. You see, what happened was the bride went her own separate way, and she prepared in a way of she bathed every day. She put her perfume on every day. She had to get completely ready every single day as if that was the day of her wedding, because she didn't know when the bridegroom was going to return. So the bridegroom, what he would do is he would go off and he would prepare the home for the family, for his future wife and for his future family, and he would get ready in that way. Well, what the bridesmaids would do is every day they would have to go get the oil to light the lamps, because they were in charge of when the bridegroom would return, they would light the way to the celebration and get the whole town excited. And they would say, the bridegroom is here, it's time, we're going to celebrate. So it was an exciting time, and they had to be prepared to lead the way to a celebration. So in this parable, it picks up. And what happens is the bridegroom makes his return. The bridesmaids, there were 10 of them. 5 of them did not have the oil prepared. The other 5 did. Now, these lamps weren't just like little lamps back in the day. They were big torches that really lighted up the way. So they had to get jars of oil. So you really, really had to be prepared for this. And they had to be expectant of his return. So there was a day he came back, and the 5 of them were ready and the other 5 weren't. And they were like, oh no, give me your oil, please, because we don't have it and we can't light the way. And the other 5 were like, we can't, sorry, we only have enough for us. And they were like, so they ran. And the other 5 lit the way and they say, the bridegroom is here. And they all went in to celebrate and they all had a great time. Well, at the same time, the other 5 come running and they're knocking on the door. They say, let us in, we're here. We have the light. And it picks up with the Lord saying, you can't come in. Surely you weren't ready for my return. You didn't know when the day was coming. They weren't ready because they weren't expectant. So they didn't get to celebrate. And their effect on the whole town was it didn't really light the whole way. It wasn't in complete celebration. So do y'all see that if half of us Christians go in and we're like, yes, and the other half don't, it honestly sets this tone to the world with, wait, what are they trying to do? But if we all go in together with the biggest migration of the world after first receiving the light and getting our spiritual preparation ready, then imagine the change we can make. It would be huge. It would be huge. David, Louis Giglio talks about David all the time, so I'm not even gonna try to touch it because he is awesome. But I am gonna read y'all this verse because I think that this is really cool. This is a cry out from David to God. It's in 2 Samuel chapter 22, starting at verse 17. And it says, he reached down from on high and he took hold of me. He drew me out of deep waters. He rescued me from my powerful enemies, from my foes, from those who were too strong for me. They comforted me in the day of my disaster, but the Lord was my support. He brought me into a spacious place. He rescued me because he delighted in me. Wow. David, what I love about this is David wasn't crying out to God from just a place of save me. He was